So there's this story that keeps floating around the Amish communities, comes up in conversation every now and then. It's about some Amish young men involved in the murder of a game warden. Before we get into that old story, if you're Amish, Mennonite, etc., and you're being abused in any way, physically, sexually, mentally, and you want help, you want out, give Amish Rescue Mission a call. Their number is 888-621-1985. There are wonderful people on the other end, and they will help you out. Now, this story that I'm about to share with you guys, it happened in the late 1800s, so the late 19th century. I've heard the locations and the amount of people involved change as I've heard this story from different people. Nobody really seems to know for sure what happened, but my sister recently got married, and I got the opportunity to speak to my great uncle who seems to know the details. It would be my great-great-grandpa or something like that who was involved in the murder of a game warden. I've tried to do research online. I have come up with nothing. If anybody out there knows more, let me know in the comments below or email me at theamishpotato1@gmail.com. This is how my great uncle told the story. The facts, is it true or not? I don't know. He still seemed very, very competent. Things can still get changed, so take it as you will. So the story is that 4 young Amish men, probably in their late teens, early 20s, traveled to Montana for a hunting trip, vacation, I'm assuming of some sort. These men were from the Indiana, I believe, Ohio area. They were friends. I don't know if there was any brothers involved, but there was a group of friends. So they traveled to Montana. Amish people love hunting. Yes, they do own guns, they do own bows, they go deer hunting all the time. Some of them travel out west to go elk hunting to this day. These 4 men went to Montana, somewhere in northern Montana, where they found, hooked up somehow with a guide. And then this guide, with a pair of horses and a wagon, took them across the Canadian border into Canada, back in the hills somewhere, I'm assuming. I don't know if they were going after a specific game, like were they hunting? I don't know what the laws were back then. Were they hunting deer or elk or something like that? I'm not sure. What they were doing, though, was shooting birds that they weren't supposed to be shooting. In their youth, they were probably bored. I don't know, they wanted something to shoot at, so they shot at birds. Well, a lady saw them and turned them in to the game warden, who then went after them to stop them. Well, the story is that this guide that these Amish men had hired, or I'm assuming hired, shot the game warden, and these 4 Amish men helped bury him right there. They then jumped on their wagon, crossed back into the U.S., back into Montana, and never spoke of it again. The 4 young Amish men vowed at that point to never say a word to anybody, to never speak of this incident ever to anybody until the last one of them was on their deathbed. So the last one alive had the duty of confessing what they were a part of or what they did that day. So when the last one died, he confessed to everything. Now, my great uncle said that it is written down. I don't know if, who wrote that down, but he said it is written somewhere. He also said that one of the young men, I believe one of them from Ohio, committed suicide because he could no longer bear the weight of the crime he was living with. It's a very interesting story. Like I said, this was in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It really makes me wonder how involved they were. Were they okay with the game warden being shot, or did they do some of the shooting themselves? According to my great uncle, they didn't do any of the shooting, only the guide did. Would they have said something, but were afraid that they would get shot by the guide? Because if they would have turned the guide in, he would have been in big trouble, hanging a fence probably at that time. So did they keep it a secret because they were so scared? Or were they so afraid that they will get in trouble since they were involved in burying the body. You know, did they want to help bury the body to hide what happened? Did they just do it out of fear of them getting killed? I don't know. We don't know. It is a true story. Something like that did happen. Like I said, I'm not sure on all the details. I've heard it happen in Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, but I'm going to take my great uncle's word for it. I'm going to think he might be more accurate than most. The first time I heard about this story was when somebody was explaining a picture that hangs in a gas station on the corner of US 20 and State Road 5 in Shipshewana, Indiana. So there's a little BP gas station, used to be BP, and back in the little seating area, there's a picture on the wall of 6 young Amish men in trench coats. And indeed, Amos Yoder, who was supposedly involved, is in that photo. Maybe more of them are. Amos would have been my great-great-grandpa, be the third from the left. I always thought this was a very interesting story. I've always loved the Wild West, the mysteriousness of it, the ruggedness of it. And this is a piece of my own family history was involved in some of that. Unfortunately, not in a good way. If you guys like hearing these types of stories, maybe I can dig some more up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. If you want to know more about the Amish in northern Indiana, watch this video right here, where they make their money in the RV industry, fueled by Amish crack, nonetheless. Go watch that video. Thanks for watching. I am CJ. We will see you next time.